Hey, 29 inches, baby. Girls 6 to 60, blind, triple or crazy. Let's get on with the video.
What was different in Puerto Rico, you live for the blood.
3 times. I've heard him 43 times say, I give up.
Okay,
I give up.
we see that.
Almost all the heels were getting beat up all the time, and they had blood. The baby faces, they got the color, they got beat up, so they had the sympathy. And me, that wasn't happening with me. My partner went in with the virgin forehead, and pretty soon, about 8 months later, his head looked like his father's. So Abudadeen, who was Rocky Iakea, he had that scarred up forehead. Me, I remember Jose one night, he said, Amigo, get some color. So I was working with Jose, so he had some. So I just took it on his head, put it on mine, rubbed it in, and he just sort of chuckled. I remember the first time I was meeting Jose and come to the side, he said, Hey, Amigo, let me see you in the shower. I said, Oh, hell no, I ain't never going in the shower with you. When he went in the shower with Brody, that was when Jose killed him. Jose stabbed him. Jose slashed him or whatever. I was a little bit always apprehensive about Jose, but I didn't try and screw him out of any money. And I didn't owe him any money. So I didn't he was okay in the ring, but I was always gulping a little bit when I knew that I had to wrestle Jose Gonzalez. Now, El Profi was the manager of me and Abudadeen, but he was a good tag team wrestler himself. And a lot of times, him and Chicky Star, they were changing guys all the time. A lot of times they would be like the tag team champions because Chicky was a star there. He'd been there a long time. Everybody knew him. Everybody respected him and El Profi too. And El Profi was a great worker, and he could hold his own in the squared circle. What he was basically the mouthpiece of me and Abudadeen, because I didn't speak no Spanish except Donde está el cuarto de baño and cuantos años tienes tú, where El Profe was bubba 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 bubba. He could speak your language. He could speak your lingo. He had the hood on. He had the hood on. He could load that hood. He could pull those gimmicks out anywhere. I thought he was like Harry Houdini pulling out those brass knucks and shit like that. But what a time it was in Puerto Rico. Going in there, you didn't know anything about it, but wrestling was wrestling. Fans were fans. Good guys were good guys. Bad guys were bad guys. The fans were usually drunk as a skunk. And just like in the States or anywhere else in the world, there was drugs everywhere. But that wasn't my thing. But yes, it was there. Yes, Puerto Rico had some rough places. They had a part of the town they called La Puerla. They said, hell, the cops won't even go down there. It's so dangerous. So I made it a habit to stay out of La Puerla. My time in Puerto Rico, and then I was there about 9 months. So that was fun. All it was like a vacation to me. I got to see another part of the world. And in Puerto Rico, they had a tape in Trinidad too. But what they did was Carlos was the top guy in Puerto Rico, but Victor Jovica was the top guy in Trinidad. So what he would do, he was the champion there, and Carlos worked the opening match. So it was sort of a rib, but but Carlos could have some fun working these, and Victor Jovica, who was the majority stockholder of the company, he could enjoy being a star. Once in a while, we'd fly into Trinidad, have a good time there. The people they were a lot less violent than the people were in Puerto Rico, because Puerto Rico and that TV show was shoved down your throat every day. And the Puerto Rican, they just love their pro wrestling. They love the blood. They love the violence. It was all like they had pro baseball league in there, and pro wrestling, and they loved it all. A lot of times, a lot of the people, the newer Ricans, they would come down for the winter time so they can be in in Puerto Rico where it was warm, and they loved coming from the WWF wrestling. They loved to come to Carlos's wrestling because they said it was so much better. It was so bloody. It was so violent, and they got to yell, scream, and act like they were kids today. On some of the girls, yeah, you had the girls that went to the matches. You had some twins there. Yeah, the twins were Nina and Tata. They were at every match. Don't know how they got their money. Don't know how they were, but they were always there. And they would have arguments. The girls would be yelling about who was with this guy, who was better in the sack, etc. Stuff like that. It's women problems and stuff like that. So you just need to poke the bear a little bit to get them going against each other. And sometimes you'd have the mother daughter team. They'd be hanging out the matches, and where's the best place to go after the matches? Well, hell, you go to the Tanama Hotel. That's where you go. Where's the action at? At the Tanama Hotel. If you want to do anything in life, whether it was gamble, get something to drink, get something to eat, just hang out where there's a lot of hot women, where do you go? You go to the Tanama Hotel. So all the women, 6 to 60, blind, crippled, or crazy, where would they be hanging out at? At the Tanama Hotel. As a matter of fact, I was thinking about it. I was the last guy that ever stayed at the Tanama Hotel. After the hurricane, they moved. We stayed at a hotel in Isla Verde, but I couldn't get over leaving the Tanama. The Tanama Hotel was home to me. And when I'm 92, if I can remember anything, I'll be dreaming of Nina and Tata running in slow motion, the chariots of fire. I'd be thinking about the mother-daughter team arguing who was the best. I'd be thinking about taking the rookies down to the part of town where they thought they were with girls, but they were really with guys. I can see Strangler Steve DeSalvo mad, yelling and screaming because I still had his shirt on and wouldn't take it off. Him bitching about a fucking payoff. I could see a Buddha Dean loading his boot like he always did, kicking Carlos Colon in the head when we were world tag team champions, and Carlos gapping everywhere, and then him returning on the Abuda Dean because they wasn't gonna get no color on me. Hell no. So can you imagine going on a vacation for like 9 months playing wrestling? It's 80 degrees every day. You got all these hot women out there. You get to be in with some of the top pros in the world coming in and out of Puerto Rico. You get to wrestle. You're on TV every day. Women throwing themselves at you. Well, things happen, but somebody's got to do it. Here I was in the prime of life, looking good, looking jacked, had the long black or blonde beard, and I had the trim black beard. And every Puerto Rican girl, they all want all the mocha girls, they all wanted to get an American wrestler. So hell, I was sort of like king of the island. So it didn't get any better than going to Puerto Rico, working for Carlos Colon, driving around. Oh, the whole time I was there, I'm driving around in Victor Quinones's car. He rented me and Strangler Steve DeSalvo and a Buddha Dean. We made the car payment, which is $300 a month there. So that was great. We was paying $100 a month a piece to ride around the island. So we had access to a car every day, and we made little Victor's car payments. So he was happy. And after I left the island, years later, I worked for Victor Quinones in Japan, and then and Korea, and then he was wanting me to go, but I worked in Korea and Japan for little Victor Quinones, because I wanted to work in Mexico so I could learn lucha, learn a different style, make me more marketable, see more of the world, travel around, learn new things. And I could have all that Mexican food and the Mexican women. But what the hell, right? The announcer for a long, long time was Hugo Savinovich.
My name is Hugo Sabinovich, and we got a treat for you. This is called the bad boys of professional wrestling.
And Hugo, we going, Siga más mejor de lucha libre de mundo. Wow! And right, he used to be married to Wendy Richter. And he must have had a hell of a hammer on him, because Wendy Richter was hot. She was a star, and there she was, married to good old Hugo Savinovich. So no matter what, Hugo, he's over with me. Got memories forever about the great time, the exciting time, the fantastic time on the island of Puerto Rico in 1989.
Hey, 29 inches, baby. Girls 6 to 60, blind, crippled, or crazy. Let's get on with the video.